know that there are about 16 different marketplaces within Amazon? And that is a lot of untapped potential. If you are thinking about expanding because you have got your supply chain figured out, you understand the category, you know your margin and your ROI, you have registered your brand, you know the product well, you are in luck. I have got a very special guest here with me today. I want to take a few minutes to introduce Manuel. But before I do that, I kind of want to say one more thing. A lot of you know that Seller Mobile sort of started off as Amazon sellers themselves about 10, 15 years ago. And, we ended up being, as we grew and scaled our business, we, were doing 8 figures. Well, a little known fact you did not know was that we tried to penetrate the EU marketplace, and it was a disaster. We were taking away so many of our resources. We were, it was a logistical nightmare. It was so hard. We didn't sort of even understand all the little nitty gritty things there are to do. We were going back and forth, and it was just, it didn't work out. So we abandoned the project because we did not know Manuel at the time. So let me tell you about Manuel. Manuel has been in the business for a while now. He understands Amazon. He was a seller himself, and he realized probably sort of what we did is we wish there was someone there to hold our hand through this, and that's exactly what he does. So they've been, let's see, you have done about 10 million in Amazon, right? You've had about 70 different customers, most of which sort of stick with you. They're long term. They like having you help them. You've got 6 brands on Amazon as well, meaning you're on the front line. You get it. So when there's a change in Amazon, there's a new thing, you know about it, right? You're not just sitting in the back and kind of, helping Amazon sellers. You're out there yourself. So Manuel, tell us about why sellers who have figured out how to sell in the US, why should they expand to the EU?
Absolutely. So first, thanks Hiba for having me, and thanks for the nice introduction. My name is Manuel. I'm just turned 28 years old. I'm from Germany, here in the EU. I want to give you a little overview about the benefits of expanding. And that's what I've been doing with my own brands and also with our clients quite often. And as an entrepreneur, you're always looking for new ways, right? So when you have a system, if you have a system in play, why don't you use it for other markets and other countries to double, triple your sales volume? And I think that's why everyone should consider this. But as you said, and also from your own experience, it is not always that easy. And therefore, I've prepared a quick presentation, which I would love to share with you. Just a second. We're all doing this live here. Right. And the quick presentation, it's about the EU expansion. We've got our main office, our headquarters here in Munich, in Germany. We've got a second location in Glasgow, in the UK, and now currently setting up a third location in the United States, in Miami. And we've got a lot of manpower, native speaking people in all the countries, both here in Europe and also the US. And we can. The good thing about us is that we're not just an agency, but because we're also doing all the own brands, we know what it takes to build a brand or company from scratch, to have like only the idea and make it really work, also on Amazon, but also on other sales channels. But with our agency, we're just focused on Amazon, and because that's already so much to do and so much to know about and all those changes every day. So we really want to make sure that we stay on top of the game, and to help you doing the same as well. Good. The next slide, we're going to start here. Just first some numbers, right? Those are numbers from Statista from 2019, and they're in billion US dollars. As you can see, no surprise, the US is far ahead of every single other country. And that is also the interesting part, because you will see on the next slide that the EU is always like 2, 3, 4 years behind the US with pretty much everything. Like you always have it first, and then at some point it comes to us here in Europe. And the second biggest market after the US is actually Germany, right? So Germans love Amazon; they love to buy through Amazon, and also the UK is also doing exceptionally well, followed by France and Japan. We've got over here in Europe, we've got Italy and Spain as well, and brand new also the Netherlands. So there's a lot of markets you can touch on, and we will in a minute. And right, so as I said, 3 years behind, and this is always a good opportunity. So if you have like tested products, if you have a proven system in play over in the US, then you have a huge advantage over the people over here, because they're now only getting to know Amazon better, and trying to compete with one another. So it's much easier. Like competition is not as high as in the US, and the growth potential is very large. Whereas in the US, it's already the market is quite satisfied already, and it's quite tough to really come up with new ideas and products. And also to give you some more specific numbers, the Germany, UK, France, Italy, and Spain, so the main markets here combined, have as many people as in the US. So if you do the whole EU, it would be the equivalent to the US in terms of potential buyers. And over the next 3 to 5 years, Amazon will hit the same level as in the US right now. So there's a lot of potential for growth. And the other great thing is, due to the strong currency over here in Europe, actually for every $1 you make, €1 you make, you've got like $1.09 at the moment. I mean, these currency rates, they always fluctuate, but that's how it is at the moment. Sometimes a little bit more, a little bit less, but actually you're making more money and can sell it for the same number, but only in euros here. And the great thing, as I said, is it's the same rules but different markets, and you have to understand those markets, and that you have to do that before you start selling. And that's not always so easy, because if you have a product that is running very well, or a broad variety of products, it doesn't mean that all of those products will have the same performance over here in Europe, because in Europe every country is different, the customer behavior is different, and also what people search for, what people buy. So you really have to do a deep analysis before you start selling for every single market you want to try to scale your business. And when you have done that, there's some more issues. You have to consider all the import-export regulations, local VAT tax registrations, some legal requirements. So there's a lot of stuff that is different from the US, and that might seem a little bit scary. So if you're going to do it as a US citizen or a US person, you'll find it very hard to get your head around all those stuff you have to do here. But I can tell you that it's much easier than it seems, as soon as you know how to do it. And we're happy to help you with that, not only with this small presentation that's more like a teaser to get you also fired up for the EU, obviously, but also to understand what you have to take care of before you start selling over here. And the biggest part will be the legal obligations. So what you have to do is you have to take care of the EORI and VAT implications. What you have to know is that it's quite similar to like the sales taxes in the US, which is now much easier because Amazon is being held responsible for doing that. But over here in Europe, you have to do that all by yourself. So that means before you start selling, for every country you want to sell in, you have to do VAT registrations, and that's a lot of paperwork. You can also pay some people to do that, but I would say for the whole of EU, it will cost you a couple of thousands of dollars to get everything set up by yourself, and it will take quite a while. But we've got a little workaround for that, but I will only tell you that at the end of the presentation. We've got some great news for you as well. you have to become familiar with all the custom regulations, laws, and fees. So everything about your product, whether it's a fit for the EU markets. And what you also have to understand are the consumer rights over here in Europe. Sometimes it's much stricter, sometimes a little bit looser than in the US. And also every country has its own regulations. I mean, there are a lot of regulations on EU level. They're just the same for all countries, but very often there are small changes, and you have to be aware of that. And also, I think the biggest difference is the commercial invoice obligation. So in the US, you don't have to create a commercial invoice for every single order. Just maybe if a consumer customer needs an invoice, you can create that one. But over here, they have to be there for every single order, and also the numbers, so the invoice numbers, they have to add up perfectly. So there can't be one invoice missing. So it all has to be perfect. And also that maybe sounds a little bit scary, but there's a lot of tools and also cheap third parties here that can help you with that. And that's once it's set up, you'll get used to it, and it's quite easy. What you also have to understand is the intellectual property rights. So it might be that you've got a registered brand over in the US, but that doesn't apply for the EU market. And maybe there's a company or brand over here that is named the same as yours in the US. So you also have to do a good check before that. So as you can imagine, you're not just getting started right away. It will take some preparation, but I can tell you it will definitely be worth it. And next parts, I know this is a lot of just numbers. If you want this presentation after you've seen this webinar, feel free to send Hiba or me a message, and we're happy to get it to you as well. And the next part would be then the marketing and labeling law. So it's also over here, it's also a big thing, but I think it's pretty much the same in the US. There are certain health claims or claims you're allowed to write on a product, some you're not. And you just have to do some research. There are also a lot of lawyers over here who don't cost the world. It's just, it's a fair pricing model. And also we can help you with everything you need, all the resources you need here over in Europe. We've got good connections and partners to make sure you get the best service you need. And same accounts for like environment, health and safety requirements. I mean, we obviously always try to make the world a little better and not make sure that the waste will be all over the planet. So we try to save some resources and packaging materials and everything, and there's good solutions for that. So let's say you've done all your due diligence, you know which products are a fit for the EU, you know all the legal requirements, and like everything's perfect, but then there's still one big part missing, right? And that's the logistics and fulfillment. And this can get quite crazy as well. But first, let me give you some numbers. The funny thing over here in Europe, if you see the whole of Europe and the 5 biggest marketplaces, logistics between all those countries here is much faster than actually in the US. And that's because the US is just so big. It's insane. I've got some numbers here, I think, as well. So New York to San Francisco is around 3,000 miles. And if we take North Germany, which is like the top of the EU markets, not of the EU, the whole EU, down to the south of Spain, which is the EU market that is like far down south, then you only have like 1,500 miles, right? So it's just much smaller. But it's 5 different marketplaces, as I said. So you can move products around very fast. And there's also something like the PEN EU program, I'll touch on in a second, similar to the PEN US program. And also brand new in 2020, it's Amazon Netherlands. Netherlands is a very small country, I think, with like 18 million people living there. But they're spending so much more money on e-commerce than any other country here in Europe. So it's very, very good to to make sure that you're also part of Amazon Netherlands. And the great thing is it's just getting started now, right? And if there's a new market, you want to make sure you jump on it and be one of the first people. And the good thing here is, so you can either do that all by yourself, so you can go ahead and do all the VAT registrations. You can ship the products from the US over here to an Amazon EU warehouse. Sometimes you have to ship it to Poland and Czech Republic as well. You can't sell there, but it's much cheaper for Amazon to store the products and distribute it all over Europe. So what we very often do here is offer like a self-fulfillment, right? So what you could do on one hand is ship the product directly to Amazon. The other part would be to use an external fulfillment partner, and we could be that partner for you as well and import the products here on your behalf and make sure the products are being sold here. But that's the part I'll spare till the end of this short webinar. Let me touch on the different programs real quick we have over here in Europe. So we've got 3 different programs how to use the Europe. And that includes the 5 big marketplaces, then Czech Republic and Poland, that's mandatory. If you don't register there, you'll be fined 50 cents, euro cents per unit sold and shipped to Amazon. So they actually force you in doing Poland, Czech Republic as well. And then also the Netherlands. So it's now actually 8 countries you would do VAT registrations for, probably around $300 to $500 per country just for the setup, and then another $200 to $300 per month for all the accounting, all the crazy paperwork. But then you can ship products all over Europe, and Amazon will store and distribute the products all over Europe, and you just have like one login account, and it's actually very great to do. But it comes with a price. Then the other part would be the European Fulfillment Network, EFN. So you just use one country as your main fulfillment and storage country, right? Let's say it's Germany, so you ship all your products here to Germany, and then you're going to only store it in Germany, but you can still sell on the other marketplaces. But products will always be shipped from Germany. This will mean it will take a little longer, it will be a little bit more expensive in terms of FBA fulfillment fees, sometimes even much more expensive. But this is also a good workaround if you desperately want to start, but you don't want to do pan-European for now. Just first test the markets, and then you can do that later. It's also an option. Or the other option would be multi-country inventory, MCI. That's actually EFN, but you can select multiple countries. So it's a little less than pan-EU and a little bit more than the European Fulfillment Network. You can say, okay, let's do UK and Germany. We're just going to store products in those countries and then going to ship it to all over Europe, even to countries that don't have an own Amazon website, right? They can still order through Germany or through the UK. Good. And then last but not least, how are you going to receive payment, right? So that's also a big issue. You could use the Amazon currency converter. That's a great and quick option, but it comes with a cost and will be at least 4% plus an additional fee. So this is actually then a couple of percent taken away from your actual profit margin, and it's just for nothing. Like no one gets something out of that except Amazon. And there's a lot of workaways around that. So you could have like a local bank account here, but you most of the time need a local company here as well. And this is only, I would only recommend that if you're a huge seller already. Also, like exchange rates fluctuate all the time, and you don't want to be caught in that crazy dynamic fluctuation. So the best option I find is TransferWise. I think a lot of people know that already. It's like a digital bank account for pretty much every country on the world, and you can receive money in local currencies and also transfer them to other bank accounts, digital bank accounts when there's a good exchange rate, or you can just store it there and pay for example, US dollar fees in US dollar, and then you've got UK pounds, and you've got euros. So yeah, that's and also good thing is, you know, you only have two currencies over here in Europe. I mean, all over Europe is much more, but for the Amazon marketplaces, it's pound and it's euros. So that's it. And yeah, good. The solutions. So I've told you a lot. I went through this real quick, as fast as possible. I understand that maybe it might be too fast and you might require some more information, but don't worry about that, right? So first of all, you have to have a proven system. You have to select your products, and I always refer to this as like combine the American and German mentality, because Americans are really, you know, really open. They want to spend a lot of money. They always buy some stuff, you know. That's also why I figured when I was in Vegas last month. It's crazy. And the Germans, they're much more, you know, everything has to be in order. There has to be a rule and a law for every single part. And the combination of both, so think big, but make sure you do your due diligence and make sure you don't make any mistakes with that part, then it will be great. Now, the other big problem is, as I said, the fulfillment, right? So you can either set all of this up yourself, or you can find an EU distributor who does all the stuff for you. And now, the first part, I'm just talking about logistics and fulfillment. We could also do that, as I mentioned at the start, and Hiba as well, is that we've got multiple brands ourselves, and they're fully pan EU registered, sometimes even all over the world. We've done all the VAT registrations. We've done everything. What we could do is get you started right away when you just send the products to one of our warehouses, and we then take care of all the Amazon business for you until it's, you know, has hit a certain level, and you are sure that you want to continue doing that. And then you can, you know, start setting up an own company, start doing all the VAT registrations, either for the US company or for another company over here in Europe. And now this is just all I was talking about, are legal stuff, logistics, fulfillment, payment. But we, as an Amazon agency, our you know, our main part, what we do for our clients is actually also the full optimization. So when you're working with us, you get like a proper market, product, keyword research. We create the whole product detail page copy for you, A+ content, help you with the images. So it's like full service we do, and also in native language. So what a lot of our clients found when they wanted to expand from the US over here to Europe, or the other way around, they said, okay, we have a proven system. We know how to use the tools. We've optimized everything in our market. Now we're going to just translate it and start it over in another country. Now this might sound like a plan, but actually it's not really working, because you can do some translations, but it doesn't mean that you really understand the market behavior. Also, for example, US to UK, a lot of our clients first said, you know, now we're going to do that ourselves. That's fine. We know the language. It's just a couple of other, you know, grammar and spelling, but that's it. But that's not the full truth, because people that are really living in the UK and have lived there for their whole life, they really know what people are looking for, and how to market products, what sentences to use, you know, how to do the whole strategy. And that's where we can definitely help. And also then our biggest strength is the whole Amazon advertising part. So we've got two parts. We've got the setup, and we've got the maintenance and growth strategy, which includes mostly the whole advertising. We do a very detailed setup. We've got quite a sophisticated system. We're going to connect a lot of tools, and then, you know, you would receive a full service. We can help you with that if you want to go the one way, through your own company, through your own Seller Central, setting up all the stuff. We can help you with that, and then help you with the whole growth system or proven system. Or you can just say, all right, guys, I'm just going to ship you the products to Europe. You're going to make it work. You're going to figure it out. And then as soon as I see some good results, then I'm going to consider setting up my own account, and then we'll help you with that as well. Transfer the products to your account. And yeah, that's basically it. So we could offer, you know, full service, full optimization. what we don't do is like we don't give legal advice. I gave you now a little overview, but we have like a lot of partners who can help you with that. We're going to make sure that we forward you to the right people, and then yeah, we're going to make it work, and then hopefully yeah, scale your Amazon business to a whole new level over here in Europe. That's from my side. Yeah, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for listening, and I hope you got some hidden gems out of this, and maybe I could convince you to start selling over here in Europe.
Manuel, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us this and show us kind of the way to do that. I do think that there are a lot of sellers that, like you said, have figured out the US market and are now wanting to expand. They understand their product. They've done all the sort of the pieces to be successful here, but now it's just the next logical step. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
And I love that you've kind of got these two solutions, right? That you
yeah,
can use you to sell the products and figure out if this is a good idea rather than investing all that time and energy and resources into starting from scratch and reinventing the wheel. Or they can kind of use you as a resource to do that. They want to do it themselves, and you are just going to guide them. So thank
yeah.
you so much. We're going to link you guys below. Comment on anything. We'll reach out to you to get answers for any questions that you have. And Manuel, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Hiba. Really appreciate it.